Today we got some really good guests into the studio, and we got Kevin Welch and his son Dustin. Now Kevin is a folk music artist since many years back in US. Have done 9 albums and a lot of hits on the billboards and stuff. So it's nice to have you here, guys. Welcome to Australia.
Nice to know you, man.
Thank you.
Now, the interesting thing, and what I wanted to really focus on today, is that Dustin started up, could say, a movement in the US with using songwriting together with returning soldiers. Can you tell me a little bit about that project and how you're going over there?
Yes, we call it Soldier Songs and Voices, and basically we provide instruments and free music lessons and songwriting lessons to armed forces veterans of all different generations and from different conflicts. There's a lot of folks that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan that I'm working with, but we also have folks from the first Gulf War, Bosnia, and many folks from Vietnam as well. And we meet typically in music venues once a week. Some of the chapters are every other week, or there's a couple even that they only meet once a month. But we have them scattered all throughout the country now. The first one I started was in a little town called San Marcos, which is in Texas, and that was about 5 years ago. And since then, they've been spreading around, and we have professional musician volunteers that just donate their time. They sit down with folks, and basically just try and. We'll give them instruments, and they are just learning teaching them how to play and how to write songs. The interesting thing about this is that it has become basically a form of music therapy. A lot of these folks they're discovering that their cognitive abilities are beginning to come back. They're able to get off their meds. They don't have to go see their therapists anymore, and it's all just from playing music and writing about their experiences. We always say that music is a powerful healer, but this is solid proof of it. And also, it's really fun. It's a great pastime. It's good for just kind of recreation, even.
And how long have this project been going for, you said?
The first one I started was about 5 years ago, I think we have 11 or 12 chapters. The most recent was just started maybe 8 months ago. So they're ongoing. There's people that are interested in starting their own chapters also right now, and so we're just trying to keep up with it really at this point.
And you're visiting Australia for a month. Is it planned to start chapters here, or is it just to suss out the ground a little bit?
Yes, we're performing in various places throughout Australia, but we are also wherever we're going to be going, we'll be holding some workshops, some songwriting workshops, and a lot of times it'll be the day of the gig, and we're inviting local veterans to come out and we're lugging around about 10 guitars with us, and so just hoping to be able to continue to develop this thing. And the idea is that by the time that we leave at the end of the month, then then maybe we'll have drummed up some musicians around here that would like to be able to start their own programs in Australia. The veteran population here is it's very impressive, and so it would be nice to be able to do something for these fine folks.
It sounds like a really good idea. And Kevin, how did you get into it? You've been invited by Dustin, your son, to work with the soldiers as well?
Yeah, basically, yes. There's a non-profit charitable organization in Australia called People First, and these guys they're pretty powerful bunch of people in terms of the good energy that they've got, and they've gotten behind this idea and put together really a hell of a team of people on the ground here in Australia to support this. I don't think that Dustin and I could just kind of come waltzing through Australia and set all this stuff up on our own in the month that we're going to have. But with these people, we really do stand a chance of this thing taking root. So it's called Soldier Songs and Voices Australia. They're actually a lot more organized than I am. I can speak for myself. So they've been enormously helpful making this possible. And I've been touring, coming down to Australia 15, 20 years. Every couple of years, it's been a part of my whole tour system, and I love it very much. It's one of the reasons I come back here as often as I do. But in the meantime, back home, I've also started teaching songwriting workshops in the Hill Country, Texas Hill Country, based out of my place, and have gotten more and more involved in the teaching aspect of this. So it dovetails real nicely into Dustin's project for me. I'm pretty much just kind of following Dustin along on this. This is pretty much his deal. I'm just glad to be part of it. I ain't looking for trouble. I can't stay here tonight. I gotta leave here on the double if I wanna see the morning light. I don't need no pistol for the ticket. Got enough to get us down the line. I don't know what happens next, babe. Your guess is as good as mine. Move with me, Magdalene. Well, I'm tired of the same old scene. There's a Greyhound leaving at midnight. If you came with me, it'd be like a dream. Come on, Magdalene. Move with me, Magdalene. I've heard Mexico is easy.
I wouldn't stay here if I could. Don't come along just to please me. Let's go while the getting's good. Move with me, Magdalene. Well, I'm tired of the same old scene. Let's go down to San Miguel. Let's go be somebody else tonight. Come on, Magdalene. There's a Greyhound leaving at midnight. If you came with me, it'd be like a dream. Come on, Magdalene. Move with me, Magdalene.
So in terms of the process for the participant, is there any sort of example you could get about what happened for these guys when they get involved? And
A lot of folks that I work with, when they first begin coming, they don't have any experience. They've never even really picked up an instrument, and so it's a blast getting to watch them learn, and it takes some time. You got to really kind of be dedicated and disciplined. Fortunately, that is part of the nature of most folks that have worked in the military. We start kind of teaching them just sort of basic music theory, and then we just kind of in the process of just hanging out. They're talking about their experiences in the military and telling me stories, and a lot of times something will fall out of their mouth, and I go, "Ooh, that's a good song idea." Sometimes I'll, especially folks that are not like really familiar with the song form, for instance, I'll ask them to just do like a free writing exercise, just whatever's off the top of their head, whatever they feel like talking about. And a lot of times it is about their experience in the military. And so then I'll be able to take whatever they've written, and I'll kind of start combing through it, and go, okay, well, here's a great line, and then we can, then I'll find something else, and I'll go, okay, we can take that, pull it up here, maybe move the words around a little bit and make it rhyme, and here's this one thing that seems like you keep coming back to this one idea, this one thing that you're saying, you come back to this same thing several times, so you know what, let's make that your chorus. And then more and more it kind of begins to take shape, and then before they realize it, they've got a song sitting in front of them. It's a pretty fantastic thing.
Let me just interject. We have some friends back in the States who also do songwriting things with vets, and the difference in what those guys are doing and what Dustin and his outfits are doing is that some of these other organizations, they'll bring in some pro songwriters. They'll hear the stories that the vets want to tell them, and then they will sit and write a song for that person. And that's well and good, but it's not nearly, in my opinion, and I happen to know I'm right, it's not nearly as powerful or helpful or interesting or therapeutic, if you will, as having the veteran, he or she, actually write the song themselves, go through that process themselves. It's the process of writing that is really the main thing. And that's true for all songwriters. The process itself is really kind of the coolest part of it. It's hard. It can be almost impossible. And some days, in fact, it is impossible. In order to write a song that is going to be clearly understandable and something that the listener stands a chance of actually getting what the writer is saying, the songwriter has to really think about what they're talking about and understand the essence of the story to the point where they can tell the entire thing in 12 lines or 16 lines.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. You got these songs are little tiny things, and so there's a lot to be said for thinking about something to the point and understanding it well enough that you can tell the entire thing clearly in 3 minutes. So it's just the process of figuring it out, process of understanding it. And also, well, for one thing, like Dustin always says, this is meant to be fun. You know, this is to offer soldiers a chance to learn how to jam and learn how to play rock and roll if they want to, and hang out with each other and swap songs and tell stories. And it's all these real good reasons for doing it that have nothing to do with therapy, really. But on the other hand, if somebody's got a story up there in their head that won't stop screaming at them, won't stop coming back in nightmares or whatever, confronting it like that and organizing it like that and getting it out of their head and onto a piece of paper, onto a recording, what have you, it has a way, it seems, of getting it out of their head and just confronting that particular barking dog and dealing with it. It seems to really, really open up a little more space in their head, you know, that used to be filled with whatever that dark dog was.
Bones lay me out to dry. Well, I won't forget the way you looked last time we said goodbye. But now nothing else makes any sense or ever has since then. If I could, I'd do it all over again. Instead I'm stumbling down this back street, gutter of a town, and upset every sorrow I've yet to drown. Well, now everywhere I turn, expecting slander and scorn. For the life of me, I beg to be reborn. I've got to find somewhere to get out of the rain. This coat don't keep the cold out anymore. And my heart don't beat the same as it did before. Episodes last night. I dreamt about an unmarked headstone on the high hillside. Well, my backbone had been bent and broken by some ruthless climb. My mind had been caught on a Ross design. And so I turned my back and walked away. drums beating on the wind. For the branch will always break the banks of the river down. And I've about had all that I can stand. I've got to find somewhere to get out of the rain. This cold don't keep the cold out anymore. And my heart don't beat the same. And my heart don't beat the same. No, my poor heart don't beat the same as it did before.
There's a lot to be said for the whole songwriting process and song form being so small and so simple and also so malleable, because you can write any damn thing you want and you don't have to follow any particular patterns or anything. Even though songs are built on patterns, it's up to the writer to decide what those patterns are going to be. If it's going to be a slow song, a fast song, a hip-hop song, a reggae tune, a country song, whatever, it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
In today's music, there's a lot of free forms too, and rapping and what have you. Well, you mentioned as well that it's also give them a voice to tell a story to, you could say, the normal population or even to the families and kids.
Yeah.
Right, and you know, somehow, I don't know, song form, you're able to actually, you know, discuss things that you can't you can't necessarily just sit down and tell somebody a lot of times, but you might be able to put it in a song and be able to play it for them. So it gives, you know, it can, you know, you're educating. A lot of times you're educating the civilian population who have no understanding of what it's, you know, what military life is like. I know before I started doing any of this, I knew nothing about it, and so this is it you know, it's also it's a kind of an educational opportunity, I think.
For us.
For us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for any listener, I guess. What's sort of the likelihood that any chapter will open up in Australia? Do you guys know how far that have advanced here, or?
We're just getting going on it, and you know, hopefully by the time this radio program airs, hopefully we'll have a few chapters going. We've been talking to, you know, some of our musician friends here about being able to sustain this once we're gone.
We had lunch yesterday with an Australian writer that you might be familiar with, Fred Smith. Fred has written he spent 2 or 3 years in Afghanistan and has written some really quite brilliant songs from the soldier's perspective. It's going to happen. This first trip, we are doing some, kind of smaller workshops, getting it started, and just we're just kind of building the whole support base right now. So I really do think it's going to happen. It's not that hard, you know. All it takes are some willing songwriters, some willing musicians who are ready to promise to show up once a week or every other week or once a month, whatever the program will hold. And, you know, we have returning veterans all over the place. So that unfortunately, there's not really a shortage of men and women who could, you know, really enjoy this and benefit from it. I don't see that there's any reason in the world why this won't take root in the way that it has in the States. And I got to say, the results have been astonishing. The things that the transformations that we've seen, that Dustin has witnessed, nothing short of astonishing.
Yeah, it's true, you know, just getting these folks back on their feet, really, and you know, some of the folks I'm working with, they've got bands together now. They're out playing gigs already. Even, you know, most of the people who are doing this, they're not looking to actually make a profession of it, do it for a living, but every few months we'll organize a performance that they can all be able to get together and perform these songs that they've been working on, and they're playing together and everything. It's, you know, a lot of times they're just absolutely terrified of getting up on stage, and I'm going, you jumped out of a helicopter into full combat and you're afraid of getting up and singing a song in front of people. But, you know, I just go, come on, you know, I promise it'll be over before you even know it. And they get done, they're just like buzzing, they're just vibrating, just going, you know, that was incredible. They get a huge kick out of it. You know, once they actually get up and do it.
There's a song that he and I wrote together that's on my last record, the Patch of Blue Sky record. It's called New Widow's Dream. And that's, in my mind anyway, that's about a dead soldier who comes to his woman in her dream the night that he dies. And she has this vision of him and wakes up in the morning and realizes, yeah, he's gone. It's a really beautiful little song, I think.
Moonlight scatters across her sheets, soft eyelashes on her cheeks. A dream is stirring in her sleep. Her breath is shallow, soft and warm, like lace it's caught upon a thorn. And now the dream is finally born. Her man is standing by her bed. A light is shining round his head. Across his chest, the deepest red. His lips, they move, but do not speak. His eyes are sad, but do not weep. His heart is full, but does not beat. Gypsy wagon saddest song was ever sung. And when she wakes, it's nearly dawn. She still hears the gypsy's song, but now it's fading, now it's gone. Her salty tears, her bloodshot eyes are raised upon the winter skies, where high above her angel flies. Who's to say what these things mean, or how many other young wives have seen that same old new widow's dream?
Yeah, so I guess we'll round it off there, and this movement is called the Soldier Songs, and maybe in a year or two we will have Dustin and Kevin back, and we can talk about all the chapters that's been going in Australia. Thanks for coming in, guys, and well done, guys, for what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.